The colony didn't show up on thermal. That should have been the first warning. I was point, visor down, rifle up, watching the scanners paint the settlement ahead of us in neat, empty outlines. Prefab structures, walkways, antennas. Power signatures faint but present. Life signs. Nothing that resolved cleanly. "Command, this is Harlow," I said. "Thermals are dead. Either the colonists learned to hold their breath forever, or something's wrong with your intel." Static. Then, "Copy, Harlow. Colonists reported intermittent power failures. Proceed with caution." Caution was already the only thing keeping my unit from bunching up. The air on KX-17 tasted thin and metallic, like rain about to fall but never committing. Our boots made no sound on the packed gray soil. Even that felt wrong. The first building we reached was a habitation dome, door half open. Inside, everything was left. Cups on tables, tools mid-repair, a child's shoe by the threshold. No bodies, no signs of a struggle. Just cold. "Ma'am," Ruiz whispered. "You feel that?" I nodded. My breath fogged my visor, then cleared too fast, like the air was drinking it. Movement flickered at the edge of my vision. I turned. Someone stood at the far end of the dome. A woman, maybe. Long hair floating slightly as if underwater. Her outline was wrong, edges blurring, reforming. When my visor tried to lock onto her, the targeting reticle slid right through. "Civilian," I called. "We're here to—" She rushed us. Not ran, phased, 1 second distant, the next right in front of Ruiz. Her mouth opened wider than it should have, jaw stretching, teeth dark and too numerous, and she sank into him like smoke finding lungs. Ruiz screamed once. Then he was gone, collapsed inward, armor clattering empty to the floor. The woman solidified, face slick and wet, eyes burning with hunger so raw it felt ancient. All around us, the air began to move. Shapes peeled out of walls, out of shadows, out of places shadows shouldn't exist, half people, half absence. Their mouths opened in unison. "Contact!" I shouted, firing on instinct. The rounds passed through them, and they surged forward anyway, starving. Fall back," I yelled, already dragging Ruiz's empty armor out of the way on pure reflex, like there was still something of him left to save. There wasn't. My rounds punched through the nearest thing, woman, man, I couldn't tell, and tore chunks out of the wall behind it. The thing barely reacted. Its form rippled, edges boiling like heat haze. Then it lunged again, mouth stretching impossibly wide. When it screamed, the sound didn't hit my ears so much as inside my skull, a pressure that made my vision swim. "Energy weapons," Chen shouted. "Try energy." Blue plasma cut through the dome, lighting the space in violent flashes. One of the ghosts, no, half-ghosts, my brain insisted, clinging to language, shrieked as the bolt hit it. Its torso solidified for a split second, long enough for me to see ribs like frosted glass and a heart that wasn't beating, just tugging at the air around it. Then it dissolved and reformed behind us. "Doesn't kill them," Chen screamed. "No," I said, backing toward the exit. "It just pisses them off." We burst out of the dome into the open colony square. The buildings here were taller, stacked modular units forming narrow corridors between them. Bad terrain, worse visibility. The sky above had dimmed, clouds rolling in too fast, casting everything in a dead, gray twilight. That's when I realized why the thermals were dead. The colonists were everywhere. They clung to walls, hovered just above rooftops, seeped out of doorways like fog with intent. Dozens of them. Maybe hundreds. Their hunger pressed in from all sides, a physical thing that made my teeth ache. "Why aren't they attacking all at once?" Patel panted as we ran. "They are," I said, "just not the way we expect." One of them reached for Patel. I grabbed her and yanked her back just as translucent fingers brushed her shoulder. Frost bloomed instantly across her armor, spiderwebbing outward. She screamed as the metal began to flake, eaten away like it was being remembered wrong. "Ma'am," Chen said, voice shaking. "What are they?" I risked a glance back. One of the ghosts had stopped chasing. It stood in the middle of the square, head tilted, watching us, not with rage, but calculation. When it opened its mouth, The voice that came out wasn't a scream. It was a whisper, multiplied by dozens of throats. "Warm," it said. "Whole," said another. "Still living," they murmured together. Understanding hit me like a blow to the chest. "They're starving," I said, "and we're the only thing here that's fully here." The whispering turned into a howl. They surged again, faster now, no longer cautious. Chen tripped. Two of them fell on him instantly, sinking into his body like he was water. His scream cut off mid-breath, and his armor collapsed in on itself, empty and steaming. I fired blindly, grabbed Patel's arm, and sprinted for the comm tower at the edge of the colony, the tallest structure, the only one with a chance of punching through the interference choking our signals. Behind us, the ghosts flowed after us, ravenous, learning. And as we ran, I saw something carved into the side of the nearest building, words scratched deep, over and over, by desperate hands. "We are still here." But whatever they were now, they were no longer human. The comm tower doors were sealed. Of course they were. I slammed my palm against the access panel while Patel covered the corridor behind us, her rifle shaking so badly I could hear it rattle through the suit's servos. The panel flickered, protested, then grudgingly unlocked. We dove inside and sealed the door just as something hit it from the other side. Not a body, a pressure. The metal bowed inward like it was being leaned on by memory instead of mass. Frost bloomed across the surface in branching veins. "Up," I ordered. "Stairs now." The tower interior spiraled upward, narrow and claustrophobic. Emergency lights cast everything in a sick amber glow. As we climbed, the temperature dropped with every step, breath fogging, then crystallizing in the air. "They're coming through the walls," Patel gasped. She was right. Pale shapes were bleeding out of the metal itself, faces forming and unforming like reflections in disturbed water. Hands reached, not grabbing so much as overlapping us, searching for warmth to anchor to. One brushed my calf. Pain exploded, not sharp, not burning, but hollowing, like something scooping me out from the inside. I screamed and kicked free, the spot already numb, my suit screaming warnings I didn't have time to read. We burst into the comm room at the top. The windows were frosted opaque, the outside world reduced to shifting silhouettes. I slammed the door shut and threw the manual lock just as the first of them pressed against the glass, faces smearing across it from the other side. Patel collapsed against the wall, sobbing. "They were people," she said. "Weren't they?" "Yes," I said, forcing myself to move, to work. I yanked power to the emergency array and rerouted everything to the long-range transmitter. They still are, just unfinished. The console spat errors, signal interference, phase noise, unknown particulate medium. Ghosts don't jam comms, I realized. But crowds do. "They're not hunting randomly," I said. "They're corralling us, keeping us contained." "Why?" Patel asked. Before I could answer, a new figure resolved beyond the glass. It was taller than the others, more stable. Its edges didn't blur as much, its features held longer before slipping. When it spoke, it didn't chorus. It spoke alone. "You brought heat," it said. "You brought weight." Its mouth didn't open wide when it talked. It didn't need to. "We were made thin," it continued, "between leaving and staying, between dying and being forgotten." My hands shook over the controls. "What happened to you?" The thing tilted its head. For a moment, just a moment, it looked unbearably human. "The planet is wrong," it said. "The soil does not hold us. The air does not remember us. We faded, slowly, hungry, angry." Behind it, others gathered, pressing close, listening. "You eat people," Patel screamed. "You killed my unit." The tall one turned its gaze to her. "No," it said. "We finish them." The transmitter whined as power finally surged. "We don't want to finish you," it went on. "We want to work again, build, sleep, feel time, move forward." My console flashed green. Link established. I slammed the broadcast key. "This is Lieutenant Harlow," I shouted. "KX-17 is a Class Omega contamination. Do not—" The tall ghost raised a hand. The glass shattered inward, not exploding, but dissolving, cold rushing through the room like a tide. "And that," it said gently, "is why you cannot leave." They poured in. Not fast. Not frantic. Certain. As the cold swallowed my legs and the world began to dim, I understood the final truth of the ghost colony. They weren't monsters. They were a failed settlement still trying, desperately, to survive. And we were the warmest thing they'd seen in years. The cold reached my chest. Not all at once, layer by layer, like frost creeping across a window. My heartbeat slowed, each thump echoing too loudly in my ears, and with every breath it felt like something was listening inside me, gauging how much was left to take. Patel went first. She didn't scream this time. She just went still as the half-ghosts folded into her, her outline blurring, armor collapsing inward as if the space she occupied had been quietly revoked. For one horrible second, I saw two of her, one solid, one pale and hollow, before the solid version simply stopped being necessary. The tall one stood in front of me as the others fed. I was on my knees now, rifle useless, hands numb. My HUD flickered, warnings dissolving into static. Through the interference, I saw flashes, their memories bleeding into me as they touched my suit, my skin. The first landing. Hope. Children laughing inside domes that couldn't quite keep the planet out. People getting thinner over months, then years, as the world slowly refused to acknowledge them. They hadn't died. They had been forgotten by physics. "You can feel us," the tall one said. "That means you can hold us." "I don't want to," I whispered. It knelt, bringing its face close to mine. Its eyes were deep and bright, like stars reflected on black ice. "Neither did we," it said. "At first." A sound cut through the haze. Not a scream. A thunderclap. Deep, concussive, real. The tower shook,